many of the MUDA members are indeed like Amira Aisyah. Mereka yang berada dalam MUDA, majoritinya tidak pernah menyertai mana-mana parti politik sebelum ini. Seperti Amira Aisyah juga, mereka kurang pengalaman dalam dunia politik. Seperti Amira Aisyah, tidak ada keluarga politik, sistem kewangan yang stabil, but they love this country more than anyone else. And it is true when people out there point to MUDA and say, Saddiq, what does MUDA have to offer? You're too young. You don't have the experience. You don't have the networks. This is not your time. Let the oldies move Malaysia forward. Wait in line. To them, I like to say this. Mungkin kita kurang pengalaman. Maybe we do not have the level of experience like you. We do not have your money, we do not have your networks. But rest assured that every single MUDA member loves this country like no other country, because this is a blessed land and a land which we will build together. MUDA members are dreamers. We are indeed dreamers, but functional dreamers. You heard Amira just now. I do not want to be in a Malaysia where someone who's young, who comes from a different race and religion than me, who may not be of the same gender identity like me, could think, hanya kerana saya bukan berbangsa Melayu dan beragama Islam, bukan berjantina lelaki, saya tidak boleh mengidamkan untuk jadi seorang pemimpin tertinggi negara. MUDA must set the record straight. All Malaysians in Malaysia should be treated equally and can dream the same dream. That if I can become Prime Minister, any lady, any Indian, any Chinese can become Prime Minister as well. And that's what we should fight for. Zaidir ni bukan UMNO ya, Zaidir tak ada hidup Saddiq, hidup Saddiq. Hidup rakyat ada. But we are indeed a party of dreamers. Why cannot we dream that a country like Malaysia can treat all its citizens as equals? A country like Malaysia, where all Malaysians are treated with dignity and governed with integrity. Why can't we dream of a Malaysia where our education system is top-notch and one of the best in the world, where we do not need to compel parents to send children to private or international schools because national schools are not up to par? And that's what I want MUDA members to keep on dreaming, because it starts with a dream and it translates into reality. And that's the dream of a Malaysia which I want to live in. Lokman shared his story just now, and I'm very privileged to have someone like Lokman together with me. It is true, when I first started my political campaign in MUDA, I didn't have much backing, and I appointed a campaign manager who's much younger than me, Saudara Lokman. And at that point in time, I remember people said the same thing to me. My friends and colleagues in MUDA from Bersatu said, macam mana kamu boleh lantik seorang yang lagi muda daripada kamu, apabila masalah kamu, Saddiq, kamu pun tidak berpengalaman? When I myself am inexperienced, how could I appoint someone who's younger to lead my campaign? But that's the very reason why I'm in politics. Why be proud of being the youngest minister or being one of the youngest MPs if I cannot bring up an army of young leaders like Amira, Lokman and Liban who can do much better than me? And that's what MUDA is all about. Don't look at Syed Saddiq. Look at those around you in this hall, MUDA members and MUDA leaders, young and old, tetapi semangat mereka, walaupun uncle dengan auntie ada sini, uncle auntie brigade, trust me, if you meet them, they are much younger than many of younger Malaysians in this hall and in this room. And I'm very proud to say, to me, a successful leader is not someone who builds a personality cult. A successful leader is not defined based on the position which he or she has. A successful leader, to me, is someone who can build a strong, multiracial, multi-religious, moderate team to govern Malaysia together. And that's what I aspire MUDA to be. A team of young disruptors. And when I say MUDA, jangan ingat faktor umur saja, but those with a genuinely new way of thinking in wanting to change Malaysia for good. And that's the MUDA which I'm very proud to build and see together in this hall, out of this hall. Daripada bermula hanya 11 ahli, today MUDA has more than 80,000 strong, multiracial, multi-religious members all across Malaysia. So MUDA is indeed a party of functional dreamers. What do we want to do? Why is MUDA different than other political parties? I want to start off by saying, when we dream, we want to implement. I want to touch on three things which are very close to my heart. The first is on the education system which I dream to be a part of, an education system which I want to see take place in my beloved country, Malaysia. Like Amira Aisyah, I come from a family of teachers. Ibu saya seorang cikgu, makcik cikgu, pakcik cikgu. Dan sebelum saya berkecimpung dalam dunia politik, saya juga merupakan salah seorang pensyarah sambilan. So, the blood of a teacher is in me. Saying that, I come from the public education system. Sekolah Kebangsaan, Sekolah Menengah Datuk Osman Awang, Maktab Sultan Abu Bakar, di Royal Military College. Ada kawan-kawan yang dengan bangganya pakai tie RMC. These are my brothers and uncles in RMC. The International Islamic University, before finally going to Temple University and the National University of Singapore. So I'm a byproduct of our public education system. But while I say that, I think that there are a lot of changes which must be done in order for Malaysia to build a truly global education system which we can all be proud of. I'm worried today, ladies and gentlemen, and while I'm a dreamer doesn't mean that I don't acknowledge the problems in Malaysia. I'm very worried because when I look at a Malaysian graduate today, on average that Malaysian graduate is 5 years behind a Singaporean graduate. Why do I say that? If you look at PISA rankings today, kajian-kajian menunjukkan bahawa seseorang anak muda Malaysia yang berumur 15 tahun fahamannya sama seperti salah seorang anak muda yang berumur 12 tahun di Singapura. And that's not my numbers, it is an international number, PISA ranking. That's already 3 years behind. When a Malaysian student exits secondary school, there are 5 different paths which a student can pick from. Asasi, matrikulasi, STPM, diploma, A-levels. That is if they want to go to tertiary education to get a degree, or they can pick another path which is TVET. Itu ada banyak saluran-saluran yang berlainan dan lazimnya ia berkaitan juga dengan faktor agama dan bangsa. There are different streams in which they pick different qualifications before they can get into university. And I want to advocate that that system must change. If it's up to me, I want to ensure that our universities, our TVET institutes do not discriminate based on race or religion, but will look at the character, the grades, the qualifications of that person. Because if I look at your skin and the race and religion which you are born into, which defines how you get into university, I think I failed my fellow Malaysians. But it doesn't end there. When that person gets into university, on average, it takes 2 additional years for a Malaysian student to become a graduate. Saya tahu dalam bilik ni ada kawan-kawan saya yang merupakan graduan dari UIA, UITM, UKM. And I think we all know this. Our classes pagi sampai malam, Isnin sampai Jumaat, kadang-kadang sampai ke hujung minggu. We don't have much time to indulge in our passion. to engage in part-time jobs, internships, because it's highly rigorous. Kerana subjek-subjek yang wajib diambil dalam universiti kadang-kadang tidak ada kena-mengena dengan bidang yang kita memilih. Those in UiTM will know that all of them will have to do kawat kaki, will have to take titas. Again, even though I'm taking engineering or architecture which have absolutely nothing to do with my course, I'm still compelled to take these subjects. And because of this, not only bila nak masuk universiti itu dah memakan masa yang panjang, ada makan sampai 2 ke 3 tahun baru dapat masuk ke universiti. And then when they get into university, it takes 4 to 5 years to finally get their degree. On average, a Malaysian graduate takes 2 additional years than our friends and colleagues in IIT Bombay, in NUS and NTU. So if you combine all of that, on average, a Malaysian graduate is 5 years behind our colleagues in Singapore. I know there are friends of mine from the Singapore embassy here. While I say this, don't worry, I'm not trying, to downplay Singapore. If anything, the competitive spirit in me shows that Malaysia boleh. And I obviously want to show that Malaysia boleh. So if anything, if we are not conscious and cognizant of this fact, we will forever be left behind. On average, we are already 5 years behind. During times of COVID, studies from the Education Ministry, kajian daripada Kementerian Pendidikan menunjukkan bahawa 1 dari 2 anak muda daripada Sabah dan Sarawak tidak dapat menyertai kelas atas talian kerana mereka tidak ada langsung gadget. Dan handphone tak ada, tablet tak ada, laptop tak ada. Can you imagine how far behind they are left? There's already great socio-economic disparity in Malaysia today. Now those who are underprivileged and poor because of COVID, their children will be underprivileged even more. 2 years left behind. Dan bila kita nak berikan mereka tablet, baru nak berikan. They just started in September. At the end of COVID, well, they've lost 2 years of quality education. So the best case scenario, we are 5 years behind. Worst case scenario, we are 7 years behind. And if we don't see this as a problem, I don't know where our country is going. So what is the kind of education system which MUDA wants to build? An education system which merges merit and need-based. An education system in which we can mirror the best qualities of Singapore and Scandinavian countries, where we judge you not by your skin color, the race or religion which you are born into, but based on your merit, on your status of privilege, on your character. And obviously, if you want to help, we want to help everyone who's poor, everyone who comes from underprivileged background. I say this because, like many leaders in MUDA, we understand that the only way that this country can succeed to become a developed country is when every Malaysian, regardless of skin color, regardless of race and religion, know that they have an equal investment in this country. Negara ini hanya boleh berjaya apabila semua rakyat Malaysia, tidak kira agama dan bangsa, merasai bahawa Malaysia ini rumahnya sama saja seperti yang lain. And that's the Malaysia which we should all dream to build. I say this because if we fail to act today, it's very hard for us to build this country as a truly developed country. And that's on our education system. Then goes to jobs, pekerjaan. When you see a lot of those in this room, they are the uncles and aunties, and there are those who are very, very young, who are still in university. But the job system in Malaysia today is not the same like the past. Saya tahu ada uncle auntie yang selalu katakan kepada saya, Saddiq, your generation have it easy. Generasi muda pada hari ini adalah generasi yang manja, yang senang. I take a very different viewpoint. I'm worried because when you look at the younger generation of today, When asked, more than 60% of them will say, if given a choice, they do not want to get a degree, do not even want to join a tertiary education. They want to end up working the gig economy, but not working as coders where they can get paid a lot of money, but working as Grab riders. Not to look down on this job and profession. However, if the majority of young Malaysians set that as a benchmark of success, I get very worried. And we should all be very worried. Why should we be worried about this? Because that shows that there's a great ambition gap. They feel so helpless. Anak-anak muda di Malaysia rasa seperti tidak ada harapan, kerana apabila mereka habis SPM, mereka perlu tambah lagi 6 tahun sebelum dapat scroll ijazah. Habis universiti, ada hutang dalam lingkungan 50,000 ke 100,000. Dengan hutang tersebut menyertai sektor pekerjaan di mana gaji mereka sama sahaja seperti gaji 10 tahun yang lepas, 2,500 ringgit. After 7 years of trying to get that degree and finally getting it, and after getting that degree, having a student loan and student debt of 50 to 100,000 ringgit, and then starting salary 2,500 ringgit. Why do I want to become a graduate when I can become a Grab rider at 18 years old and earn 3,000 ringgit a month? If we are not worried about this, how can we change the structure of economy? Sistem pekerjaan di Malaysia juga perlu diperbaiki. Perkongsian kekayaan itu perlu lebih adil. If you look at Malaysia today, for every $1 of economic value created, only 32 cents go to the workers. But if you look in Singapore, it's 44 cents. In the Western world, it's 55 to 60 cents. Ia bermaksud bahawa gaji rakyat Malaysia itu masih tidak sampai ke tahap dan prestasi yang baik. It is not a dignified wage, and that becomes another problem. If we're not able to share the economic pie equitably, it becomes hard for us to build a truly prosperous and equitable Malaysia, where all Malaysians can treat this country as home. With that said, what will MUDA do? MUDA must be a party which focuses on policies and solutions. In Parliament, we've made many suggestions on education reforms, from adopting a K-12 model in which will streamline quality primary and secondary education, ensuring that we trim the time needed for a graduate to get his degree, to invest a lot more in Tibet, to ensure that those who pick Tibet and graduate from Tibet colleges will be treated as equal partners as those who graduate from a university, following the German model. But that's on an education system. We envision for a socio-economic system in which all Malaysians are given equal opportunities to climb up the economic ladder. It may not be equal outcomes, but equal opportunities. We envision for a country in which from today onwards, we treat climate change as a climate emergency issue. Tidak guna kita menyesal setiap akhir tahun apabila banjir besar datang, tempoh masa 10 hari kita rugi 6.5 bilion ringgit, orang dekat dengan kita meninggal dunia, rumah mereka dihanyut dengan kayu balak, and only then do we realize that hey, climate change is a real issue, and that we need to treat this as a climate emergency, as one of the national issues in Malaysia. But that's what MUDA should really stand for. A country in which all Malaysians will feel that this is their home, that we are equal shareholders in this country, that we love this country like any other Malaysian. A country which is truly multiracial, multi-religious, moderate. A party like MUDA, which champions the politics of policies and the politics of service. And I'm very proud to say that I'm not alone in this battle. for once in my lifetime, while this may be my second party, but finally MUDA is a party which I feel at home, because I'm not alone, because people in MUDA dream the same dream. And no matter how tough it gets, no matter how difficult it gets, I know those in MUDA are willing to go on the ground to work hard, are working to fight for good policies. No matter how many elections we may win, and no matter how many elections we may lose, MUDA is here to stay, to change Malaysia for good until we become a truly developed country, a country which is governed with integrity and dignity. And that's the MUDA which I dream about, and the MUDA which I hope all MUDA members dream about. But none of this would be possible without your kind support. To the kakak-kakak, uncles and aunties, thank you for giving us a chance. Because the reality is, it would be impossible for us to be here today without your kind support, your kind advice, through the toughest of times. Because it is true that we are young, and we are indeed inexperienced. I admit that. Even though I was given a chance to serve in cabinet, there are a lot more things which I must learn, and a lot more people which I need to serve. And we know how to right-size ourselves. While we are a party of dreamers, I hope that all of you will continue to support and advise us. For the young members out there, kepada anak-anak muda yang berada dalam MUDA, jangan biar sesekali kamu berfikir bahawa hanya kerana kita muda, kualiti khidmat kita itu lemah. Kerana kita tidak ada pengalaman, kita tidak ada tempat untuk mengubah negara tercinta kita ini. Because this country belongs to all of us. This country is a country which we will inherit one day. Don't think of only partaking in politics when it is too late. Because to the young people of Malaysia, you can choose to ignore politics, but politics will forever be there with you. Don't only when it is too late will we inherit a country which has failed in many ways because of our failure to act today. The time to act is yesterday and today. And this is our country, like it is our fathers, like it is our grandfathers. It is our country together and forever. And we will fight for this country until the end of days, because Malaysia is worth fighting for. To my friends in MUDA, to the friends of MUDA, uncles and aunties, young and old, thank you very much for making tonight possible, and I hope that all of you will continue to advise MUDA as we move forward. This is our country. I am blessed to be a part of this country, and I never dreamed of leaving my beloved Malaysia. In the end, I want to fight until the end of days, until I leave a Malaysia which is much better to my children and to my grandchildren. To leave a Malaysia in which I know that every Malaysian will be treated with dignity. I hope that dream will be our dream together. And that while it is a dream today, through nights like this, through the work of every MUDA member on the ground, in the smallest to the biggest of ways, that dream in the future will be a reality. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much to Lokman and the team. Thank you for coming over. And to MUDA members, let's get out there, let's rock and roll, and let's change Malaysia for good. Boleh ke tak? Can we do it? Can we do it? This is our country, like it is any other country. This will be a blessed land, a country
for all Malaysians, where we can say, this is a blessed land, our home, together and forever. Thank you very much, everyone.